welcome to the History Channel, where everyone speaks in a monotone voice. Today we will be rediscovering the actions of civil disobedience in history. Join us now for Civil Disobedience in History.
150 years ago, a rebel was about to rebel. Henry Davis Thoreau lived right here, in these woods behind me.
Henry Thoreau was the kind of guy that liked his own space, and, he kept to himself a lot, especially after his bad love affair with Ellen and his brother's murder by razor.
It was here that he wrote his most famous work, On the Duty of Civil Disobedience, where he described that the government is best which governs the least, and the importance and necessity of breaking unjust law. Perhaps he is most famous for his spending one night in jail after he refused to pay taxes which were going to support the Mexican War. Another truant in society was Martin Luther King. He openly disagreed with the white government and tried hard to create equality for whites and blacks. He too was arrested for his beliefs, and in the Birmingham jail, he wrote the letters to a clergyman, entitled Letters from a Birmingham Jail.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
King focused on the importance of nonviolent direct actions as a part of civil disobedience to create a needed change.
Harriet Tubman was a runaway slave and a leader of the Underground Railroad, which was a method for slaves to escape to freedom.
This was probably one of the greatest acts of rebellion this country has ever seen. As Martin Luther King would later write, oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning of freedom eventually manifests itself, and this is what happened to the American Negro. Something within him has reminded him of his birthright of freedom, and something without has reminded him that it can be gained. This act of rebellion against the social system of the time was very important, and it changed the course of American history forever.
What Tubman was doing was obviously illegal, and the penalty for such was death. However, she strongly felt that this law was unjust, and she broke it often. She successfully led over 300 slaves to freedom, and at one point there was a $40,000 reward for finding her. Tubman is known to have had a 100% success rate, but she would shoot any runaway who wanted to turn back.
Oh, I miss my home.
I'll shoot you if you run! Late 1800s, women started to push for equal rights in the fields of education, marriage, job openings, wage, and voting rights. This feminism push was led by three courageous women: Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucy Stone, and Susan Anthony. They traveled the country protesting and giving speeches about gaining their suffrage.
I think they, founded that thing,
Read the cue card.
The National American Woman Suffrage Association.
The National American Woman Suffrage Association.
Yeah, that too.
They led many famous protests, including in 1872 when 12 women tried to vote even though the law was not in their favor. They were arrested and held on a high bail. It was not until 1907 that the ideas of pickets were brought to America from England, and in the year of 1917 over 500 women were arrested and 168 of them served jail time as the protest spread.
They embodied Thoreau's philosophy from civil disobedience. As he had said, they came into this world not chiefly to make it a good place to live in, but to live in it. These women felt that their rights were being disturbed by them not having voting rights. So, they worked hard to get their voting rights.
Enter the 19th Amendment, ratified by Congress in 1920, which granted women the right to vote. A more recent example of civil disobedience would be the protest of Sheehan to end the Iraq War. After her son Casey was killed in combat in 2005, she began to speak against the current presidential administration and demanded that the troops come home. What we see in Cindy is a woman struggling to repair a wound in her heart after the death of her son. She continually asked to speak to the president, and she started an around-the-clock protest near the president's home as she tried to find closure. She attracted over 100,000 people to protest with her, and since then she's been traveling the country and gaining support for her cause. On the day the casualty list struck 2,000 servicemen and women, she protested in front of the White House and was arrested. Even Sheehan told a group of protesters that nonviolent civil disobedience is the way we have to go to end this war. Currently, Sheehan is planning an Impeach for Peace protest on January 27th to the 29th of 2007.
Sheehan demonstrates a different side of Thoreau's philosophy. As he had said, quote, "It is not a man's duty to devote himself to the eradication of any wrong. He may still properly have other concerns to engage him, but at least to wash his hands of it, and if he gives it no thought longer, not to give it practically his support." Sheehan worked hard to end the war, and which she continues not to support, and she takes an active role in this cause.
This has been your monotone narrator saying thank you and good night.
They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling and trying to catch me riding dirty, 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 trying to catch me riding dirty. My music's so loud, I'm swinging, they hoping that they gon' catch me riding.
We're right next to Susan's house. We're not at Susan's house. We're near the lamppost at Susan's house. Wait, we're almost done. We only have like one line. One line.